paranormal, preternatural, and supernatural worlds that surround us. Here we delve into those topics that challenge us to think outside the limitations of realism, where we test the boundaries of imagination and are forced to think outside the confines and restrictions of what is normal. We are the creators, the writers, the artists, and the insane. Welcome to our Wyrd Realities.
When you think of fairy tales, you most likely think of those sweet stories heard as a child. However, some fairy tales weren't intended for children, but rather for adults. Welcome to the modern-day fairy tales of Quentin Tarantino. I'm dark fantasy writer Hadley Thorne, and I'm happy to be here tonight with best-selling zombie authors Allen Gamboa, Restucci, and Scott Baker for another great episode of Watching Wyrd. The hosts for other Wyrd reality shows are joining us tonight. I'm super excited that everyone's here. And if you could, guys, take a moment, introduce yourselves, what show you host, and what movie you've chosen to discuss.
I'll go first. I'm Jennifer, and I host Murders, Mystery, and Mayhem with Heather and other authors.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
And I chose Kill Bill, and what it reminded me of, and I only did volume 1, but I kind of wish I would have just said, okay, the series of the different volume. Because the one, it leaves you kind of hanging. You want to know what happens next. That's me.
All right. Hi, I am Morgana, and I do Wyrd Awakenings on Friday nights. And the movie I chose was The Hateful Eight.
Awesome.
Hey, I want to say hi to Whitney. That's my daughter.
Hey, Whitney.
Hey,
Hi, Whitney.
My name is Allen Gamboa, and I am the co-host of this show. And I am the Ed McMahon of Joe Hansen's Lowballin show. And I picked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Love that movie. Rich?
My name is Rich Restucci, and I host Watching Wyrd with those two guys and that lady over there. And I picked From Dusk Till Dawn, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Nice.
I'm Joe Hansen. Are you picking now? Oh,
No, go, Joe. I'm sorry.
go.
I was just trying to prevent this. Sorry.
I'm the host of Lowballin, where we interview authors in the indie world and the subgroups that surround us. We have our own little economy here, and we're kind of exposing that. And I do that with Allen Gamboa. And I didn't pick a movie because there were so many others picked. So I left it alone.
I assigned you Reservoir Dogs. Because we were all going to watch it and talk about it. So I said, we'll just say Joe picked that one.
The one I didn't watch. Scott?
My movie pick tonight was the World War II alternate history classic, Inglorious Basterds. And I think everybody knows me, but for those who don't, I'm a zombie writer, paranormal, romance, time travel, Nazis and aliens, you name it, I've probably written it. And I do the Watching Wyrd with this crew, and I also do the Wyrd News when I'm out and about. Haven't been out and about much, it's been too cold and snowy. But.
And our special guest tonight is Kris Vandalay, a.k.a. CC. CC is my best friend, and I'm just happy she's here. So if you'd like to take a moment, Kris, please let us know what movie you picked.
I picked Pulp Fiction.
I love that.
All right. And again, this is Hadley, and I picked True Romance, which is a Quentin Tarantino screenplay, but not one that he directed. It's one of 2 movies that he did not direct, and I'm curious if anyone knows which other one he did not direct that we picked.
Stump the panel.
Nope.
Oh.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
No.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that was Rodriguez. Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. That was
That's right.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Well, you didn't let me do Sin City.
didn't write everything. He wrote all the rest.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
Well, we should say something about the fact that the reason that we're on here, the extra players, is for Hadley's birthday.
Yes, my
Yay,
birthday
happy
was Monday,
birthday.
and this is sort
Happy
of
birthday.
my
Happy
birthday party
birthday.
with my favorite online gals and guys.
Yeah, she
So-
turned 39.
That's right.
Again.
Hey, that's 29 and holding. 29.
Right.
29 and holding. Well, let's kick off the shenanigans here with how about True Romance, Hadley? That's your baby, right? You
Yes,
wanna do
it
that?
is. It is one of my favorite movies, and I hope all of y'all watched it, but I have a feeling that there wasn't enough time in the week. True Romance is basically a love story, and it centers around Clarence, who's played by the wonderful Christian Slater, and he is this comic book reading video clerk that falls in love with a girl at a Sunny Chiba Film Festival, and it turns out she's a hooker, call girl, and her name is
dare you.
Alabama, and Alabama's been a call girl for 3 days or 4 days, and they get married, and when he finds out that her pimp has all her stuff, he goes and the shenanigans erupt. And I'm not going to give any spoilers because I do believe everyone should watch this film at least once. It has a number of incredible actors in it, and it's just incredible. In fact, which I don't know if anyone saw it, but one of my favorite scenes is with Drexel, the pimp. I don't know.
Gary Oldman. It's Gary
Yes.
Oldman.
Oh,
And Gary Oldman has claimed that this is one of his 2 favorite performances that he's done, and that he would go back to do a Drexel's life story if it ever was going to be filmed, because he loved the character that much. And I'm a huge Gary Oldman fan, so that means a lot. And the other one, by the way, was, I think, the character from JFK, so that he played in JFK. But anyway, so I'm curious what y'all thought about it.
It was Tarantino and Christian Slater at his. He was really, he was younger, and Christian Slater's great. So I think that combination of those two was awesome.
Well, I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to go through the cast because I think everyone deserves to hear this. It has Christopher Walken in it. It has Dennis Hopper in it. And the scene between the 2 of them is one of my favorite scenes in history. It's got Brad Pitt, a young Brad Pitt, that, in case y'all did not know, Brad Pitt pretty much ad-libbed 100% of his lines. I think he had like 2 lines, and that's what he made of the part, is what makes it just an impeccable scene.
And he was a stoner. That was the other great part of it.
Yes.
He played that part great.
It had James Gandolfini, which has one of the most disturbing parts I've ever seen him play, which he did it so well. It's very creepy.
Yeah.
We said Gary Oldman. Samuel L., of course, had a scene in it. Can't think. Who am I missing? There's a ton. I can't think of the...
Was the guy from Brother We're Out There? Was he in it?
Michael Rappaport.
No, the good-looking guy.
Clooney.
Clooney was
he in
not
it?
in it.
No.
Oh, I was thinking that was the one where he came out of the closet and blew Brad Pitt's head off, but can't remember what that flick was. Anyway.
Well, Tarantino's got his normal people in there, like, Michael Madsen.
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer was in there as
Kilmer.
Elvis. I don't know if you guys know who Saul Rubinek is. He was in there.
Yes. Saul Rubinek.
Bronson Pinchot from the 80s. He was
Yes.
in there too. Yeah, he was funny. Chris Penn, Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore, you can't
Yes.
forget him.
They're always in his films. So
Yep.
Well, and this is one of the many reasons why I love the Taratino-verse, is it's all connected.
Yeah.
And for those of you who did not catch this, in Reservoir Dogs, Mr. White talks about a girl named Alabama, which is Alabama from True Romance.
Yeah.
And also the producer that Clarence is selling the drugs to is named Lee Donowitz, who is the son of Sergeant Donnie Donowitz, a.k.a. the Bear Jew from Inglorious Basterds.
That's funny.
So, I thought that was pretty cool.
It is cool.
But yeah, it's one of my favorite movies, and I hope that y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. So,
I certainly did.
Yeah,
who all watched it? Who had never seen it before and watched it?
I'd seen it years ago.
Yeah, I had seen it before and watched it.
I think I saw it.
I never had a chance to see that one, but now I got to see it. That with that cast, how can you not go
It's
wrong?
great. Every Tarantino movie's got that cast.
Yeah, definitely.
It always has a great cast.
Hey, Landa. Landa joined us.
Landa?
Hey, Linda.
It is a testament to the parts that he writes. Oh, thank you, Landa. I'm happy. Oh, Mark Eady says I didn't consider him special enough. No, Mark, these are just our hosts for the weird shows. So
I didn't get a
except for
chance.
Chris
I didn't
Vandalay.
get a chance to watch any movies this week. Just construction. This is a busy time of year, so
Well,
going off my memory off of what I've already seen, and I haven't seen True Romance, but I have to admit I'm intrigued. So I will.
It is really good. Like I said, if only for the scene with Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken, it is worth watching.
Yeah. It moves. It's a fast. It's like Tarantino movies are fast.
Yeah.
They move fast. Most of them.
Yeah.
Well, and
we'll
I
get to
will
that
say
later
this:
too. Yeah.
the
I know what you're talking about.
Drexel is the pimp that Gary Oldman plays. He is a white man who thinks he's black, which it's masterfully done.
Oh, he nails it.
And his wig that he has on in it, because he has dreadlocks, the wig was made by the Bram Stoker wig maker. That's how into this part he was, and it's maybe like 5 minutes of the film, if that.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Nope, I got to see. I love Oldman. Now,
He's
was
great.
it a dreadlock wig with the two Dracula brooms on it?
No.
Well, okay. So, we're not going to rate these, right? Or do you want to rate these?
No, let's don't. I really just wanted us to get together and talk about it because they're all intertwined and it's kind of weird and it fits into our weird verse. And Quentin Tarantino's birthday was a few weeks back, so it's just good timing.
So the
Hey,
first
Morgana.
time.
Oh, go ahead, Rich. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
What I was
No.
gonna say is-
No. I want
please.
Rich
you
to go
please.
first.
No, you please.
I want Rich to go first.
Hey,
First
Rich,
time
Alan,
I-
go
I'm
first.
gonna
Alan,
go.
shut
Well,
up.
I want Alan to go first.
You know what? I'm going to go. Forget it.
I'm gonna get my cat. Shut it.
You guys remember the Chipmunks, the cartoon Chipmunks?
I guess Joe's going.
Oh, Chip and Dale. Yeah.
Chip and Dale? That was hilarious.
The first time I saw True Romance, I didn't like it. I sat there and I watched it and I was like, it's kind of. I mean, I love violence, but it was just a little slow. I like Gary Oldman's performance, and then I watched it again, maybe 10 years ago. And I said, wow, this is actually really good. As my taste matured, I enjoyed the movie. I watched it again this past week and I absolutely loved it. What a great flick!
Jennifer, it's like we're at the Derby or something right now.
I know, what's going on?
I know. Did you see that? I don't know what that was about. I didn't like that hat. Hang on. I got another one. Kind of like it, though. This is the other one.
Oh, you look like a hitman.
Fedora.
Or
Well, I think I came in on it on a late night,
Oh, I
like
like
it
that.
was on like CBS late night or something. And that's my introduction to True Romance. And I was like, what the heck? Because I think I came in around the time of the hotel room scene with Sizemore and Patricia Arquette. And that is an incredibly powerful scene. And it's very violent. And I was like, what the heck is this?
You mean
And
with
I started
Gandolfini? With James Gandolfini?
Yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah, okay,
Gandolfini.
yeah.
Yes, I'm
You
sorry.
tricked
She was making
Oh.
sure you were paying attention.
Yes. But anyway, it was incredibly powerful. It was incredibly well done, and I just did not know what I'd seen. And finding out later that it was Quentin Tarantino was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I watched it and fell in love. And like I said, it is truly a fairy tale love story through the eyes of, I guess, the director by way of Quentin Tarantino, and that was one of the other reasons I really wanted to feature this movie, was because it's one he wrote at the beginning of his career, but it's also one that he did not direct. And when you start getting into his directing, you see a totally different take on things. And I saw where he had said, because I can't think, is it Tony Scott, the director for True Romance?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't
And
remember.
he said that it was a pleasure for him to see the story told through Tony's eyes, because it's completely different than what he would have done. And I thought that was an interesting way as a writer to look at that. But anyway, so
Yeah, I think, didn't Tony Scott direct Top Gun?
did he?
I think he might have, yeah.
I think he
Didn't
did. He's really Scott's brother. He ended up dying, or actually, I think he committed suicide because he had some kind of illness that was killing him. But he made a lot of big movies in the 80s and 90s. Tony Scott, a lot of action flicks. Anyway,
This was the one I had every intention of watching, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. But now, like I said, I was also working, so I may have just overlooked it. So if you know where it streams at, send me.
Yeah, same here.
So Christopher Walken in this movie, he plays this lawyer. He's the lawyer to this big mob boss. And like Hadley was saying, one of the scenes is the kid Christian Slater has stolen drugs from Gary Oldman, who he thought was just this pimp, but he ends up that those drugs belonged to this huge mob boss. So Christopher Walken comes in after Christian Slater has brought his brand new wife to see his dad, who's Dennis Hopper. Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette leave. They figure out that Christian Slater's father, who used to be a cop and he's like a railroad cop, they come and they see him, and that's the scene that Hadley was talking about. And when you watch Christopher Walken just act the way he acted in that, he's just this sadistic Italian gangster type of lawyer, and he was great. And he's got all these hitmen with him surrounding Dennis Hopper. Yeah. And they get into this conversation, and there's a little bit of torture, and then Dennis Hopper knows he's going to die. So I don't want to give it away on what goes on, but he does something that was really, really cool. And Christopher Walken he bit hard and fell right into it. But James Gandolfini has a scene where he's sort of, again, torturing and beating up Patricia Arquette, and he says something to her right at the beginning of the scene that was just it just chills you. And what he says is, the first time you kill somebody, it really gets you, and you don't sleep that night. That's awful. And the second time, it's a little better. And he goes, but now I just do it to watch people's expressions change. I was like, what? Holy crap! That was friggin' scary. Guy just didn't give a shit.
What got me was his interaction with her. He's like, "You're so cute," and you can tell he thinks that she's just the cutest thing ever, but he's just going to do what he's got to do.
He's got a job to do
because he has no conscience. But it's like I said, it's a very powerful scene.
It is. It's a powerful movie.
It really is. It's a good movie. I suggest everyone should watch it, but y'all know that's what I'm here for. So who's next? Kris, let's talk about Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Well, I can't really say what it's about because it's about a whole lot of different things. But to me, what it is, and I'm horrible with character names, but it's John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson fumbling their way through their life or this period in their life. But I think that what draws me to it is just two parts that I absolutely love, and that's I shot Marvin in the face, and that that whole scene, and then when Harvey Keitel comes in as the wolf, and they're they're doing the cleaning and all of that, and here he is with Quentin Tarantino, and Tarantino's worried about the cost of the sheets and all that they're using, and don't worry about it. Your Uncle Marcel will buy you a whole new suit or something. It there's just so much more to it, and there's so much more set up in it that connects to the to the different like the Quentin Tarantino universe, and then there's I sent Heather a quote and I can't remember it now, but there's the movie universe, and then the movie universe, and how it all connects in there. But I don't know. I think I'm better answering questions about it than I am just talking about it.
What I liked about that movie was, I liked a lot about it. I really loved the movie. I love the dance scene with.
I was gonna say the dance scene is one of my favorites.
But the fact that they never tell you what is in the briefcase, and just how in awe everybody is about it, and that's all you really know about it. It glows and it just really strikes people. I've heard people say, "Oh, it's their soul." I've heard people say it's more golden. I've heard people say all sorts of things, but you never know. And I've never heard any reference from Quentin Tarantino as to what it was.
He got that idea from a Mickey Spillane story, which was a movie.
Oh, okay.
And I cannot think of the name of it, but there's a briefcase throughout it, and at the end, they open it up, and all kinds of hell breaks loose. But that's where he got that idea from. The briefcase was mysterious all through it. The name of the movie's got a cool name because all those hard-boiled thrillers always had a dame to die for or whatever.
Well, and when they were opening it in the restaurant, I actually expected something like a Pandora's box.
Right, that's how it is in that Mickey Spillane.
And instead it was just this overwhelming awe that they felt. But there were so many classic themes and things they did here. Everything was done in kind of a De Style type coloring with just the whole set was really, really classic and overdone with the colors, and I really enjoyed it, everything about it.
I saw this movie in the theater, and it was the first Quentin Tarantino. It was when Quentin Tarantino became big, and I went with a friend of mine, and she hated it. And I looked at her and I said, "We just saw the first of something big." And I go, "This was like a roller coaster ride," and I just loved it. And it wasn't. I mean, it's not one of those you walk away with like this feel good, sunny joy. But you walk away and you think about it. And his use of music in a movie was something I had never seen. The music is a character all its own. And I just loved it. I mean, I walked away, and a couple of weeks later, my friend called me and she said, I've been thinking about that movie, and you were right. It has stuck with me. And I said, yeah, we just saw something big.
Yeah, it was very unique and kind of a what did I just watch type feeling for you.
And it revived a lot of careers. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was watching it and I remember thinking, am I watching the same movie? Did we turn it off and put on a different one? Because now we're at the store and they're going to, put the ball in his mouth. I'm like, wait, who are these people? What just happened?
Guy's talking about a watch up his ass. Yeah.
Right.
Captain Coon.
I was very confused. I didn't understand. I needed to really pay attention if you're going to watch a Tarantino movie. So.
And when overdoses and they slam that adrenaline in her heart.
Oh, yeah. That's a great scene.
I'm sorry, Scott.
I'll just say, Samuel Jackson and John Travolta were brilliant in this. I love Harvey Keitel, but my favorite storyline was Bruce Willis and the guy he owed money to. Yeah. And when they wind up down in that sex dungeon with the leather-bound gimp.
Marcellus.
That was so friggin' bizarre. But at the end, when Bruce Willis goes back and helps the pimp, the guy he owes money to, and he gives that speech about how, we're going to do things to you. We're going to make you suffer so much. It was like, that just...
We're going to get medieval on
Yeah,
you.
it's just like, you shouldn't have shot me in the balls. You should have shot me in the head.
That was Bing Rames.
It's a brilliant movie, and it's so bizarre, and it's hard to follow it because the timeline jumps. But I agree with Hadley. I mean, that was just sort of like, that's one 50, 100 years from now, they'll be talking about that as one of the greatest of this generation.
But that scene that you just brought up, that's one of the things that when I remember back on the flick, I'm like, was that the same movie? Or was that, I mean, my memories have divided that into like 3 different movies, 3 different storylines. And
it was.
It was really brilliantly done.
Yes. It's a different movie, that definitely. I can't say it's one of my favorites of his. It's not one I could watch again and again, but that's just me. I've got a weird. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood right now is my favorite, and I'll tell you later about it when we get to it.
I think I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood more times than I have Pulp Fiction because I like a lot of scenes in that one. So that's why I chose it. But love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
Well, it's interesting to watch the harshness of Pulp Fiction and then compare it to the finesse of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, definitely.
Because, I mean, if you look at Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I mean, it's a flawless movie.
It is, but there's some harsh in there too.
Yeah.
There's some nasty shit in that movie.
Well, let's talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tell me about it.
Hit it, Alan.
Okay. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Quentin Tarantino's love letter to Hollywood. You watch this movie and you can see this guy loves the whole filmmaking process. He loves the Hollywood of the 60s. It's just, you watch it, and if you're a movie nerd like most of us are, and me, I'm a movie and TV nerd. I picked up on a lot of that stuff. Tina and I are watching it, and I'm telling her, "Oh yeah, that was a show. That was an actor in a TV show." Because they throw out these names of these actors, that they're working with and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's a real guy. That's a real, But you could just see his love in this movie for Hollywood, and I really think that Sharon Tate's death affected him the way this movie goes. And it's another alternate history story from Mr. Tarantino, and his foot fetish is in full effect in this one. Definitely with Margaret Robbie's dirty feet sitting there on the movie seat where she's watching that Matt Helm movie. Anyway, this follows a washed up cowboy star and his stuntman double best friend, I guess, for lack of a better word, and their relationship and their trip through Hollywood in the 60s and their ups and their downs and their run-in with the Manson family. And
was Brad Pitt the stuntman?
He was a stuntman, yes.
Okay, I have seen that. That was a great flick.
It just draws you in. There's not a lot of action in it until nearly the end, and then there's some horrific action, Tarantino action, and it's just a movie about movies and people in movies, and it's got Kurt Russell in it. It's got James Remar. I don't know if Michael Parks is in it, but just the people that he's pulled in with him. It's got Zoe Bell, the stunt woman from Death Proof, the one, the Australian lady.
Yeah,
Death Proof. She does the stunts, and she plays Kurt Russell's
wife
wife
too.
Yeah, she does a lot of work. He likes her. In fact, I named one of my characters in Dead Island after her because I thought she was such a cool character. But anyway, I love this movie. Let's hear what you think.
Kris, I'm going to hit. Let's go after Kris since she's seen it so many times.
I loved it almost end. It gets dramatic and it gets ugly, but it does it in such a wonderfully entertaining way. when the woman is in the pool, there were parts that I was thinking I should not be laughing, giggling right now, but you just couldn't help it. But there were just moments, and then being the dog person that I am, Brad Pitt's interaction with his dog, and then the dogs rolled and all of the chaos too. I just loved it. And then the way that Brad Pitt just is able to do that nonchalantness, I think he just masters that in a way.
It's like that character was almost him, huh? Like,
yeah, he just I don't know how he does that, but he does. But it really was. It was just a great movie. And then his visit to Spawn Ranch, whole thing.
Yeah, Bruce Dern.
Bruce Dern, I was gonna say Bruce Dern.
Yeah.
George.
Playing George. There's a part in there where, at the end, where the dog attacks Tex Watson, and he bites Tex Watson in the crotch. Right now, I think I read too much into this, but Tex Watson, when he was on death row, he was able to have several kids. He was able to have conjugal visits, and they changed the law in California because of Tex Watson. And of course, I think his sentence was commuted later on. But yeah, so I'm thinking, is Tarantino, is that a nod to that? But
maybe good thinking, actually.
Yeah.
I just but that whole end scene, the violence in it, the flamethrower with what's his name? He played DiCaprio. Gosh, I can't remember his name. He's all proud of himself. With the flamethrower, and he really didn't do anything. I mean,
nope.
But
it did quite a bit, though.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sorry I missed this movie now.
You need to see it.
It's a beautiful movie.
It is. It's a total nod to, like Alan said, filmmaking in the 60s when it was just coming. It was really getting started. Like the money was really starting to roll into Hollywood, and it was about both the high end and the downtrodden. And DiCaprio's character he's kind of a has-been. He ends up going to do spaghetti westerns, and then he comes back. And the way they merged the Manson family in there was pretty good. And when my wife and I saw this maybe a year ago, and I honestly didn't want to watch it because I knew the story of Sharon Tate, and I'm like, I really can't. That's just awful. And it ended up with the alternate history. It ended up being fantastic. So it's definitely worth a watch.
Well, y'all are missing to me, the highlight of this entire film was the camaraderie ship between DiCaprio and Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah,
it was beautiful. I mean, you talk about, I hate to say true love, but I mean, it was such a bromance there. They really got each other. And
well, when he puts him in the ambulance at the end, he says, "You're a good friend." It's like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, and the thing about Brad Pitt, and I kept thinking that he must have based his character off of Steve McQueen, because that's just how I think Steve McQueen was probably like. But how can he pull off being cooler than the actor? Was so underplayed and perfect. I mean, it was masterfully shot and masterfully done. But I mean, who knew Thelma and Louise, Brad Pitt, would become this great actor, and Leonardo DiCaprio, wasn't he on Growing Pains? I mean, they've grown so much, and I like to watch them in the Tarantino films because he brings something out of both of them that I don't think any other director has.
Well, keep in mind he did do Troy too, so not everything he's done out there.
Yeah, Troy's okay for a little bit. That scene with the little girl on the Western set, that was great.
It really was. Well, that scene with DiCaprio in the trailer when he's like, that was, and I want to say I saw where Quentin Tarantino was like he wanted to cut it, and he was like, just let me have it, just let me have this moment, and
me too, Cecil.
Yeah. I'd keep it in my car with me, but that's probably a bad thing.
But good pick, Alan. It was, like I said, it was a great movie.
Oh, hey, and Timothy Oliphant was in this one.
Yeah.
Love Timothy Oliphant.
So playing a cowboy. So to me, it's become one of my favorites. Reservoir Dogs used to be, and this one I think has jumped ahead, and just because the whole Hollywood aspect is great. So, watch it, folks, if you haven't seen it.
I'm definitely going to now. I wanted to see it anyway. I was talking to Heather about it.
And it's one of his upbeat movies, actually. It's an upbeat movie, actually. It really is. So.
As much as Tarantino can be upbeat, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's mellow in his old age.
The last scene scene teared me up. Actually did. The last scene.
Well, I'm gonna take a minute and we're gonna go back in time now to the 90s and talk about From Dusk Till Dawn.
All right. Well, that was my pick. Dusk Till Dawn. It's a 1996 film, and it stars pretty much everybody from the 90s. It's of all the Quentin Tarantino films, I'd be shocked if there were more kills that were racked up than in this one. It's just blood and guts all over the place. Granted, a lot of it is vampire guts, but and it also has Salma Hayek in possibly the best dance scene in film history. And some of my thoughts. So it starts off with these two criminals, Quentin Tarantino, who is not Richie. He's Richie, and George Clooney is Seth. And they've just robbed a bank, and they've taken a teller hostage, trying to get across country down to Mexico. The film starts off where basically they kill a Texas Ranger inside this gas station stop, and then they start a fire and leave. Kidnap this Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis, and I can't remember the other kid, in a Winnebago. Drive down to El Rey, fictional place in Texas. Meet up. Cheech Marin's in the movie 3 times. There's 3 different characters. They meet up with Cheech Marin at, I don't want to say the name of the bar. You guys going to have to say it. It's called the Titty Twister. Meet up down there. They go in there like, hey, we're going to get paid. Just going to keep these guys as some hostages until we get paid. And it ended up they are in a bar full of vampires. So vampires come out, start killing everybody. There's quite a few characters in there that you know. Greg Nicotero's actually in there for a lot of you Walking Dead fans.
Which one was he?
He was Sex Machine's buddy. And Sex Machine is
Tom Savini.
Tom Savini. How can you forget Tom Savini?
Right? So Salma Hayek does her really sexy dance, and then things just go downhill. People start dying.
That was incredible. Salma Hayek was just stunning.
Yeah,
stunning in that movie.
Still is. She's still.
I've got a tidbit for y'all about Salma Hayek and the dance scene.
I want to hear.
Tell me
there was no dancing involved.
Oh.
No, they basically turned the music on and told her to move, but they said she couldn't dance because of the snake. So it was not choreographed at all. It's just her moving to the music with the snake moving on her.
Oh.
She also is terrified of snakes. She did therapy for 2 months because Rodriguez told her that Madonna wanted the role. So she was not going to let Madonna have that role.
Good for her.
Yeah. But yes.
Oh, the first snake would have had to have been on Madonna. Ugh.
It wouldn't have worked with Madonna.
The snake would have been in therapy for 2 months.
It'd be sticky.
Well, it's south of the border, so the dancer's going to be.
Oh, what are you saying? What?
South of the border. It's in Texas, isn't it?
He means Mexico.
Don't make me race-explain to you.
I don't think that Madonna would have pulled off the subtlety. I think that's part of what made the dance scene really as impressive as it was.
He made that up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he made it up to get her to stay in the
movie. Right. Yeah. But I mean, just in general, like I said, I don't know of many people I think that could have pulled it off.
No. Plus, she was perfect for the part. She was a young and beautiful Mexican actress. They were down in Mexico at Danny Trejo and Cheech Martin, and it was just a fantastic scene.
Well, it was written. The original Satanico Pandemonium was written to be, I think, blonde death, and it was supposed to be a blonde actress. But when Quentin saw Salma in Desperado, he changed his tune.
You can understand why.
Yeah.
Calm down, Rich. Calm down, Rich.
I didn't like the first
drink. Hold on.
The whole movie up until they get to the titty twist, it just bores me. The only thing I really like is the relationship between Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. Quentin is out of his mind in this one. He's the one that's causing all the problems, and Clooney stays with him. Clooney goes through all of this because he loves his brother. I think the two of them were brilliant together. But once they get into the titty twister, once she's done with her dance, I mean, I love it because up until then, it was all like Interview with a Vampire. Oh, I'm a vampire. See my fucking to see these vampires, to see the band playing instruments made out of dead bodies, to see those vampires the way they were, that was just awesome. It brought back vampires to what they should be.
When that movie when I first realized it was a vampire movie, you're already halfway through the movie and you're just like, oh my God, this is a monster movie. I thought it was a crime movie, a hostage, that type of deal. And all of a sudden it was crazy. It was beautiful.
So Scott brought up the Tarantino and Clooney relationship, and he's right. It was absolutely fantastic. But I think my favorite relationship was between Clooney and Keitel, because they're at odds. They're opposites. Yeah. Clooney has captured Harvey Keitel and has his kids, and they end up being as close to friends as they could possibly be for a kidnapper of one's children. I mean, they have to save each other. They're it's born out of necessity, or they're both going to die. They're going to die if they don't work together, and it ends up being exactly what you think.
Yeah, it was well done.
This is a typical Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yeah.
I can't believe y'all are ignoring that first scene in the gas station when they had the hostages, because it was a masterful scene with the sheriff who he's been like 3 or 4. I think he plays the same
Earl. He plays Earl McGraw, and he's in Grindhouse too in both those movies. So
and he's in another one too.
Right.
Which other one?
It's weird how it's an ultraverse, because he dies in this one, right? He dies in Dusk Till Dawn, right?
Well, from Dusk Till Dawn and Kill Bill, which he's in.
Isn't he a True Romance too? Is he a True Romance?
The brother, his son is. His son is at the food truck. Because that really is his son, by the way.
Yeah, no.
The sheriff. Okay.
His last name is Parks, right?
Yeah, Michael Parks.
Michael Parks. That's
what I love about that opening scene, and I never thought of it, it was like so brilliant, was when the kid's hiding behind the counter, and Clooney just shoots all the bottles of alcohol, lights the toilet paper on fire, and throws it over the counter. I mean, damn,
what a dick.
Well, one of the things that I read.
No, it was brilliant. I mean, didn't get killed.
One of the things that I read about the Tarantino-verse is that Kill Bill and From Dusk Till Dawn are movies that, like, Vince and Jules would go see.
Okay.
All right.
And that you can tell by like anything he puts like a cartoon in is like a movie within the verse.
Ah.
So tidbits for you kids out there.
El Rey is the name of Freddie Rodriguez's character.
It is.
Planet Ted.
All right.
I love that one.
Yeah. So.
Damn.
A lot of Easter eggs.
I absolutely love this movie. Yeah.
It is. It's fantastic.
It's fun. And you got Nicotero and his mentor in there. It's like
No, I take it Dusk Till Dawn 2 was done by somebody else because that wasn't a.
Oh, there
Quentin.
was another one. They were all terrible.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I'm curious about the series. Have y'all watched the series?
I didn't know they had
never
made
watched
one.
it.
Yeah, it's got a couple of seasons behind it too, and I think that Tarantino's been involved in it. But I mean, I don't know if it's just like because it's his franchise or what. But I have been curious about whether or not it's any good.
It's okay. It was on the El Rey network. I think Tina watched it, and she says it's okay.
Well,
2014 to 2016, it says here on IMDb.
One of the things that I found interesting was how many people turned down the George Clooney role before Clooney got it.
Really?
Yeah, because he offered it to John Travolta, and John Travolta said no. He opted to go with Pulp Fiction because that was around the same time.
Good move.
And yeah, really, like I don't think he could have done it, but he finally, like I want to say, there was a ton of actors in Hollywood that he had proposed the movie and they turned it down for scheduling conflicts.
Well, I think Clooney too was like get that he was making movies like The Peacemaker and that weren't really big, making money. And I think this one brought him back.
This was when he was in ER because they met when Tarantino filmed an ER.
But I don't think his movies were doing that. You know, he was in some movies that were okay. And then I think this one kind of helped him.
I know we say this about every actor who's very famous, but I can't picture anybody pulling off that role and making that movie that good other than Clooney in that role. I don't think, Tarantino and somebody else would have done as well.
I agree. So, Rich, why is this your favorite?
Well, it does have vampires in it. So there's that. I like the way they made the vampire super tough, but really sort of soft. You could just break it with your hands, but they could just throw you across the room too. And I enjoy anything with Harvey Keitel is basically my favorite movie. I love Harvey Keitel. Mm-hmm. And he plays a preacher who has sort of fallen away from God. And that comes into play later when, the preacher has to fight vampires. So there was just so much in this, and it was the Quentin Tarantino movie that Quentin Tarantino was in the most. So he's in it quite a bit, and like Scott said, he's batshit. He's a psycho, and he sees things that aren't really happening and takes that into his own head. Because at the beginning of the movie, one of the things he does is he says, the guy, he was signaling the cop, and clearly he wasn't. But when you see what Tarantino sees later, maybe he really did see that. Maybe he really did see the guy signaling the cop, because I always thought he was just full of shit and wanted to kill people. I mean,
I thought he was like, what is it when you hear voices? Schizophrenic.
Wow.
Yeah,
nuts.
Because when he's talking with the Juliette Lewis character, and in the back, and he's like, well, hey, that thing you want me to do? And she's like, what thing?
And that's
I love
what I
that
mean.
scene because it really shows you how disturbed he is.
Yeah. And that's why I loved Clooney in it, because he was just, if it was anybody else, he would have shot him in the head and left him, but it was his brother. And he was just taking them and trying to get him to a safe place where he could do what he had to do. It's one of my favorite Clooney movies, and I'm not a Clooney fan.
This movie made me a Clooney fan.
I've always liked Clooney. I liked, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou. I thought that was a great movie. And the one, I can't think of the name of the one where he comes out of the closet and shoots Brad Pitt in the head.
Is that Burn? Burn After Reading?
Burn After Reading. That was it.
Brad Pitt was the best part of that movie.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that movie, but I enjoyed it. It was kind of quirky and off the wall. So I'd have to say I'm a Clooney fan. I mean,
of course you are.
Yeah. I don't. What do you mean by that? You don't say that with a smirk.
The Ocean 11 remakes are great too. I mean, I really like those.
I never got into that franchise.
It's a fun one.
I need to.
Yeah, I like heist movies in general, and George Clooney he's the leader of the gang.
Caper Flakes.
Yeah, he's Danny Ocean. And
Kris, have you seen this movie?
Which one?
From Dusk Till Dawn?
Oh yes, yes. I have many times. Love Teach Marin's opening scene at the bar. For some reason, it's
Unforgettable.
yeah.
So, shall we move to Inglorious Basterds?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
It is a bizarre, funny in some respects, not funny in others. It's an alternative World War II movie. It's various characters. Christopher Waltz, who I'm going to get into later, Hans Landa, the Jew hunter. He's the SS officer in charge of hunting down Jews in France to send to the camp. There's a side story about a young girl who he spared from execution, who then runs she winds up running her own cinema in downtown Paris. There is this narcissistic, oh God, I couldn't stand this guy. I can't remember the character's name, but he was the star he was a Wehrmacht war hero who was idolized in a film. Joseph Goebbels made this movie about him to prop up the war effort and let him be the star because he was so attractive. And he falls for the young girl who runs the Parisian cinema and is so bloody obnoxious in it. There's a OSS group who is sent in to try to assassinate Adolf Hitler. And then one of my favorite characters, Brad Pitt as Aldo Rain. I loved him in this because he was the most out of place, most bizarre character. He was so stupid, so pompous, so out of touch, and yet he was the one getting everything done. I just loved him. He was like the whole scene. If you've ever seen the movie, he can't speak German. So he pretends that when they go to the movie theater later, him and Eli
Roth.
Eli Roth, thank you. They pretend that they're Italian. They can barely speak. Brad Pitt can barely speak a word of Italian.
Grazie.
Italians.
Italian. Grazie. And he gets away with this stuff. But I love the movie. The thing that makes the movie to me is Christopher Waltz as Hans Landa. Anybody who knows me knows I love a good bad guy. I loved Hannibal Lecter. I loved Hans Gruber. Christopher Waltz has got to be at the top of the list in this one. Hans Landa. That opening 20-minute scene when he shows up at the farmer's house and you find out that the farmer is hiding a Jewish family underneath in the basement. And he goes through this 20-minute scene where he's so nice, he's so polite, he partakes of their milk, he's friendly to them, and then all of a sudden halfway through they switch to English because he knows the family can't understand English, and he starts asking him, so you do have the family that I'm looking for underneath the basement, don't you? He said, and I would be honest with me because you have your own family. And just, he is so, delightfully evil in this. There's not this maniacal streak to him that you see. It's just, he's suave, he's noble, he's debonair, he's a mass murderer, but he's just doing his job. And the farmer was hiding refugees. He let him go. He kept his promise. He let the Jewish girl go, though that would have major repercussions later. Yeah. It's the most brilliant movie I've seen him in. I loved his character. I love the interaction near the end of the movie with him and Brad Pitt when they work out the deal. I don't want to give it away. It is what happens in the movie theater while they're watching the movie is brilliantly written. It is just it's kind of World War II porn in a way, because it's like how you really wanted to see some of these people meet their end. It's just like erotica violence, the whole end of the movie. But it's brilliant. I loved it. Every time it's on, I turn up the volume and wind up watching the movie rather than doing what I'm supposed to be.
Great flick.
Yeah,
It is. And
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
one of the scenes in the movie theater is when Waltz he's interviewing I can't remember her name.
Hammersmark.
Yeah, Hammersmark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he figures out he knew. He just wanted her to know that he knew that she was a spy. And then when he kind of figures it out for sure, and he knows, and there's really not a lot she can do, he just he loses it. And it was like, holy crap, because I didn't see that coming. I thought he was gonna.
And
what
even
he had done before.
that scene, it's delightfully evil the way he just teases and torments her until he drops, until he proves he knows what's going on.
Those were the main storylines of that, but the sub storyline actually carried a lot of meaning too, with the young coward who was the kid who was always afraid, who was always picked on by the Jewish guy who bashed that guy's head in with a baseball bat. And then they had that nasty German guy that they kept running into. He started out as their prisoner and then got away, and
Speaking of Saving Private Ryan.
We're talking about
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
You're talking about Saving Private Ryan.
Am I really?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
But that's a good movie. That's a good movie too.
It's a very good movie, though.
The scene.
Really? I got him confused. Huh?
Yes. This one's a musical. The scene. The scene in the basement with Michael Fassbender. When he orders 3, and they're like, and I didn't think. I thought, wow, this guy's going to be. Nope. Same with the German guy too. The German guy that was on their side, flipped.
So the scene where it's like it's the introductory scene for Michael Fassbender when he's in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
That's Mike Myers.
Yes,
that he's talking with. I mean, this was really. It had some really good Easter eggs in it.
Yes. And when they're talking about directors in the movie lobby, Antonio Margheriti, they mentioned him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when DiCaprio is talking about going to Italy.
Antonio Margheriti.
Yeah. It's like, oh, did you hear that? Did you? And that meme, that DiCaprio meme, you see that scene in there where he's pointing at the TV, it's like,
Well, the thing I liked about it was he's so lovingly stereotyped, because when Fassbender realized it was over, they knew, and he pours himself the whiskey and says, well, if I'm going to go speaking the King's English. He went out so classy.
Yeah.
And then you got Brad Pitt, who was he was like every European's idea of what an American is like.
Yeah.
The Apache.
Yeah.
Aldo the Apache.
Exactly. That's great.
Yeah, my wife loves that movie. She thinks that's so funny. Yeah.
So what would you say your favorite scene is?
One question. Mm-hmm. There was a Jew with a baseball bat that bashed him.
Yes.
So
the bear Jew.
Yes.
He's saying Pavarotti.
All right. All right. Little embarrassing, but I'm over it now.
That's fine.
It's okay, man.
Well, an interesting point is the two guys, the bear Jew and the guy that was with him that were in the theater, they're the same two guys from, was it? I can't think of the name of it. It was the movie that Tully suggested, Death Proof?
Death Proof?
Yeah, they were the guys in Death Proof. Yep.
That's a good flick.
Death Proof was the only Tarantino movie I will never watch again. But
Oh, I will.
that's another story.
Now the Bear Jew in that was B.J. Novak. He was one of the writers on The Office, and he played, I can't remember the guy's name on The Office, but he was a regular, actually. So it's funny to see him. He's a comedic guy in that role. Not the Bear Jew, I'm sorry. That was Eli Roth. In the theater,
The
though,
little
one of the
guy.
guys, the
The
little
little
guy,
man.
yeah, yes,
Oh.
yeah, B.J. Novak. Yeah.
Wasn't that Death Proof? Wasn't that put out in a group of 3 movies?
Two.
Two movies,
With-
that
Two.
and
Planet Terror.
which
Planet
I
Terror.
adore.
Which
With
is the one with Rose McGowan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
she was in Death
I
Proof
love
too.
Rose McGowan. Yeah.
What's the one you'll never watch again, Scott?
Death Proof.
Oh, that is the one. Okay.
Yeah,
With Kurt Russell, right?
I thought I loved Kurt Russell,
Yes.
but the end of it to me just was so out of character. Yeah, I didn't like it.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I liked it too.
You know, both those movies, when I watched them, they were good flicks, enjoyable.
And all of those trailers,
Yeah.
about half of them made it into movies?
Yeah.
Hobo with a shotgun.
Hobo with a shotgun.
Werewolf Women of the SS. It was like a Rob Zombie one.
That was probably something from the 70s, though, too. I remember they had movies like that. The SS women movies, the prison
Oh
camp.
yeah, and Ilsa, main bitch of the SS, and then she was like
She-Wolf.
Queen Wolf of Siberia. And,
High quality.
oh yeah.
All right, y'all ready for Kill Bill?
Yes.
Sure.
I kind of want Rich to do the summary because he does the summary so well.
On Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You introduce it, and I can do your summary.
Okay. So it kind of starts out, and I believe it's at the church where she was going to be married, and she's pregnant, and she looks like she's dead, but she actually is not. And then it skips to 4 years later, and her and I can't remember the woman's name. Not Lucy Liu, not
No.
Oh, Uma Thurman?
Daryl
Oh
Hannah.
no, yeah, it is Uma's character, but she goes to the woman's house that was
Cottonmouth.
Copperhead.
Oh,
Oh gosh, why can't I
Damn
think
it.
of her name?
Vivica Fox is her name.
Thank you.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
thank
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
And so Vivica's daughter comes home, and they were about to kill each other. Well, or trying to, and she ends up thinking that they're going to meet at the baseball diamond that night, and then Vivica turns around and tries to shoot at her, and then she kills Vivica, even though her daughter was in the house. And she's like, I'm really sorry I killed your mom, but if you feel stinky about it in a few years, just come find me and I'll be waiting on you. So she leaves there and she marks off the list. That's the first time I really think I saw the list. There's 5 names on the list, and basically she ends up killing a couple of people other than the people on the list. The pussy wagon guy at the hospital that was.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
he
know.
needed
Words
to
we
go.
don't
He
need to
needed
say
to
for
die,
radio.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was pretty gross. And then
Yeah.
she was banging his head. She's like, "Oh, I remember you're buck and you're here to fuck," or something like that. It's like, oh goodness, I forgot. I had watched it again today. It'd been so long since I'd seen it, and she had some people that she needed to go kill, and Vivica A. Fox was one of them. When she was in the hospital, and she, I guess was it 4 years? The atrophy on her legs, she couldn't really walk. So when she got out of the bed, she fell straight to the ground, but she wanted to make that big toe move. I don't know if anybody remembers that. She's
I
like,
do.
big toe.
I do.
Move your
Wiggle
big
the
toe.
big toe. And basically it comes down to the baby that she was pregnant with was Bill's. And they were all a part of the, what is it? assassin team. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was. This is terrible. I'm doing a terrible job of this.
No, you're not. You're not doing a terrible job. You're doing fine.
Okay, so the assassin team was all these women that basically had been trained by him, and she had some people that she needed to go kill because they all turned on her the day that she was supposed to get married and was pregnant with the baby. They thought she was dead, but then she ends up spitting at the sheriff when he comes over to check her vitals. And so they realize she's alive, but she's not really aware. So she sat in the hospital for quite a while, and Bill made sure that the other character did not come and kill her. Like, I think she'd been ordered to. I couldn't quite get that because I think Bill said, I want you to abort the mission. She, withstood us beating her, and I shot her, and she still is alive. And if she ever wakes up, then we'll do much worse. So she's got the list, and there's still people. Here's what I hated about this one volume is it just left you with 2 people still on the list. Actually 3. No, there was 2. 2 people left on the list to kill. And she murks that last one off. And that was the Lucy Liu. Very cool fight scene.
It was great.
And she had everybody. Like, I don't even know how many men were around her that she spanked the one guy with the sword. The one little kid that she just was like, this is what you get for doing this.
Crazy 88.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a long time ago.
Now, was Uma Thurman, was she discovered by Quentin Tarantino?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No,
Because-
she'd been
because-
around a while.
Yeah.
Because if you take her, her face is too long, her nose is too big, her feet are too big, she's kind of clumsy. But when you put it in her package, it works.
Yeah.
And that's actually an observation my wife made about her, was that, if any of those features were on anybody else, you'd probably go, oh well, but on Uma, it all works.
The Deadly Viper Assassination Squad.
Thank you. Yes.
So, trivia. The Deadly whatever Assassination
Viper?
Squad is very
Okay.
similar to the Fox team whatever from Pulp Fiction, which, by the way, I read you have to wonder if you're seeing Uma Thurman in Kill Bill or if you're watching Mia Wallace in Kill Bill.
Did I understand that right? Lucy Liu was your crush, Alan?
No.
No.
Landa's husband.
Landa's husband's
Oh, I'm
crush.
sorry. Okay.
Trying to get me killed.
Landa's husband was your crush, Alan?
You guys are trying to get me dead.
No,
Hey,
I promise I wasn't.
hey,
Landa's husband was your crush, Alan?
no. Her husband's crush was Lucy Liu. Hadley. Sonny Chiba was in this,
Yes.
which in True Romance, they were watching the Sonny Chiba festival.
Yes, isn't he Hanso or
Hanzo.
Tony Hanso.
He was big in the 70s in martial art movies.
Yeah.
and the Hanzo character is a character that appears apparently in martial art films. And
okay.
I saw where Quentin Tarantino just kind of continues the tradition of like this is like the 101 descendant of the original.
No,
Which is kind of
I
cool.
had to watch it again because I was like, am I mixing up when she goes and she fights with the one woman who only had one eye?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that right? Well, that's the second movie. Like they cover that next volume. And I didn't know, I couldn't remember. I was like, where does it end? And what it made me want to do is watch the second one.
Yeah,
I just wanted to watch more.
It's really
So,
one
yeah.
long movie. Those two
Yes.
movies are just it
Yeah.
takes up. The second movie takes place immediately after the first movie,
Right.
and then it starts jumping in time again. So it's they need to be watched kind of close to each other.
Yes.
They do. Definitely.
Like
was
if I had watched just that, I'd be like, wait, is that the end? Seriously? Like I would not be happy if I wasn't able to watch the second one.
Yeah. I love the choreographed fight scene with the Crazy 88.
Yeah, it was good.
That is just I can watch that 1,000 times. And I love it at the end. Anyone who's alive can leave, but your limbs stay with me. They're mine.
Yeah.
But she was nice enough to drop Lucy Liu off at the hospital, so she's not all bad.
She actually did. It was her friend. Lucy Liu is gone.
It's a French woman.
Oh, that's right. It was the French woman. I'm sorry. You're right.
Rolled her down that hill out of her trunk.
Yeah.
You know, she decapitated Lucy.
That's
Liu,
right. No, you're right. You're right.
That was a really cool scene too, by the way, where
Yeah.
I always love that.
That's one of my favorite movie scenes is the fight between the bride and what was her name?
character.
Yeah. It's beautifully done.
Is that the little girl that she was fighting that had the steel balls?
No, that was
Oh,
Yo-Yo.
no.
Wasn't that
was
Go-Go or Yo-Yo?
Or was that in Private
Go-Go.
Ryan too?
No. Yeah,
No, that was
in
in Full Metal
1,000
Jacket.
fetishes in that scene, wasn't it? Were there?
Well, and I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying this, but when Bill is talking to the, did you say she's a Swedish woman? I don't know what. Anyway, that woman that he rolled down the hill to the hospital, let her just roll on down there. He's like, did she say why she let you live? And she's like, yeah, I don't have to wonder because she told me. And he's like, did you tell her that her daughter's still alive? So it was really like, oh,
cliffhanger.
So she thinks she lost. She's doing all of this because she thought she lost her child. And now you find out that, and again, makes me want to watch the next one because I'm like, okay, now I don't remember what all happened. So,
yeah, I know she killed David. I don't want to say. There's people watching, but
we can go into the next one if you want
David
to.
Cassidy.
I have it up here.
She killed David Cassidy.
you
That's
go right ahead, Rich. Go on.
Starts off. What's her name? Uma Thurman goes looking for Michael Madsen, his name is Buck, and he is one of the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad. And she finds him. He's like a bouncer at a strip club, and he lives in a trailer. And she goes to try and kill him, and he gets the better of her, injects her, and then buries her alive.
He was in Reservoir Dogs, wasn't he?
He's in every single
everything.
Tarantino movie, all of them.
Yeah.
She learns from Hattori Hanzo, who made her sword. She learns from him, or actually no, she learns from Mai Pei, who is another he's a Chinese man he's super martial arts guy, and David Carradine, who plays Bill, he takes her to learn how to fight. This was years before when she was an assassin. So she gets out of the casket that's buried 6 feet under by punching through the casket, digs her way out, goes back to kill Michael Madsen, but Daryl Hannah, who has one eye because she had also been trained with Mai Pei, but she was like sarcastic to him and he snatched her eye out. She kills Michael Madsen for the Hattori Hanzo sword that Uma Thurman had gotten before. So she kills him with a Black Mamba of all things, and Black Mamba is the code name for Uma Thurman's character.
Right.
It's a bride.
Uma Thurman, exactly, the bride. Uma Thurman and Daryl Hannah have a fight, and Uma Thurman takes her other eye. So now,
yes, and then steps on it.
Yep, she squishes it. Then she goes to find Bill. She figures out that, oh crap, my daughter is very much alive. Look at this. Bill's very nice to her. They start talking, and then at the end, there is sort of a pretty quick fight between Uma Thurman and David Carradine. And that's pretty much it.
That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah, that's the second one.
It was a
I remember
great
watching
series.
the second one and thinking it wasn't as good as the first one, but now I think the second one's probably a little better than the first one. Because I like the scene with the Crazy 88 too, Scott. I really like that fight scene.
Weren't there
Did you-
three? There were 3, weren't there, or were there only
No.
2?
2.
Yeah, there's only 2 movies.
They're thinking about making a third, I think.
Well, and she had 3 people. I was wrong because I forgot about Buck. It was the Daryl Hannah character, Buck, and the last one was Bill that she had on the list. So,
Well, Quentin Tarantino is rumored to only be making 10 movies. But I did see that Kill Bill Volume 3 was a possibility. Now, that could have just been a joke, to kind of get people to stop and read clickbait. But I did see it.
Well, how many movies does he have now? He's got to have 9, right?
9, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Django
Is
and
Clickbait
James.
a movie? Clickbait's a Quentin Tarantino movie?
No.
No,
he was on
clickbait
Bill
means like
Maher, he talked about it.
Clickbait is
Oh.
when you see something that might not be true, but they want you to
I
click
get
on
it.
their article.
I get it. I'm just old. I'm not dumb. I'm just
No,
old.
I don't think you're dumb.
They're not.
It
No,
takes me a
he
while to figure
actually
this
did
out.
say he wanted to go out on top. He goes, I don't want to be one of those people that makes movies well past my time. And
Yeah.
he was on Bill Maher talking about that. And he was like, he goes, you're at the height of your game. And he's like, you can't leave now. He's like, there's plenty of people that are making great movies, into their 70s. Like, you can't stop making movies. That's just silly. And so, but he
All
was
right.
thinking about it.
Now, I just clicked on IMDb, and they have Kill Bill Volume 3 listed as announced to be made. So maybe IMDb knows something we don't. They also have in pre-production Django versus Zorro. So that I got to see.
Wow. I'd watch that.
That sounds like a Disney movie.
Okay, Morgana, you ready to go with the Hateful Eight?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Okay. First, just disclaimer. I don't like Westerns.
Hi,
Until
Ash.
yesterday, I had never watched except this movie by Quentin Tarantino. So yesterday I watched a couple more, so I'm not completely blind here. But The Hateful Eight, the fact that I don't like Westerns, I love this movie. I'm a huge fan of Samuel L. Jackson, of Walton Goggins, of Tim Roth. I mean, I really like the character set he has, and I do like that he continually uses the same people. That's something, that I do like. So basically what starts out with The Hateful Eight is you've got this like really big bounty hunter known as the Hangman that is on his way to turn in this criminal he's got that's got a bounty on her head and everything. And as they're going through, there's a blizzard on its way, and he comes across Samuel L. Jackson, who is also a bounty hunter. And his horse has died, and he needs a ride. And after his paranoia, and I will say Kurt Russell's probably the most paranoid character I've ever met in this movie. I mean, he trusts nobody. He thinks everybody's going to try to take his bounty. But Sam Jackson has his own bounty, and he's like, so we're all good. So he lets him get a ride. They go a little further up the road, and they come across Goggins' character, and he is the sheriff at Red Rock, or he's going to be the sheriff. So this is not too long after the Civil War. So, you've got this black character and a lot of white characters, and there's a lot of tension there with ones that, depending on what side they were on. Well, Kurt Russell's kind of enamored of Samuel L. Jackson because he personally knows Abraham Lincoln. He's got letters from him, that he carries around with him and everything. So anyway, they finally make it to Minnie's Haberdashery, which is a stopover with stagecoaches. And there are all these people, like I said, so you've got the Hangman who thinks everybody's up to something because he doesn't know everybody. So basically, you've got everybody trying to figure out who's not who they seem to be. And of course, from what I have seen in the few I've watched, there's a lot of killing going on in this movie. And again, not to give too much away, that everybody but 2 characters end up dead. And then their finality is left hanging. So like I said, I liked it. I liked the interaction between all of these people. You can tell that they've worked together and that they're very comfortable with each other, and I do love that. So overall, like I said, I won't say it's my favorite because I haven't watched them all yet, but I do enjoy this movie. I mean, I actually own this movie, and it's one of my go-tos when I don't have anything I'd rather watch.
It's a great flick. It's Tarantino's only whodunit, I think.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one that I would call a whodunit other than this, because it's sort of a mystery up until 2/3 of the movie is over, and then they go into a chapter that takes place before the rest of the movie, and it tells you what's going on and who did what, and then it goes into the last chapter, which is all about murder.
Yes. And I love that. I love that it builds up,
good.
and then, they jump back and they say, okay, so what we didn't tell you, and they go through from, the beginning, everything. That's really cool. I like that.
It was really dark for a Western, but one thing I did get a feel for watching that was the time period. Everybody was just grubby and dirty, and you just really got a feel for the time and the hardships of the age, even though it was mainly held in a one-room set, really. But it was really good. They conveyed a lot of emotion, a lot of information about that era,
Right.
just in that small setting.
You're exactly right. And another thing that
They did the same thing on Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
In case you want.
This was originally a screenplay.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And I do too. I like too that there's always some comic relief there. Like every time somebody came in, the door flies open and everybody's yelling at them. You've got to put 2 boards up there. And so everybody comes in, and where the hell they've gotten all this wood from, because it gets shattered every time somebody comes through. So like I said, and I did notice that that seems to be a recurring theme too. Now, It's off humor. Most people may not get it, but like I said, that's kind of the people I'm drawn to anyway. But I do like that he does include humor in his films, and
dark humor,
yes.
which I think all of us here love.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Dark humor and horror.
Just a tiny.
And you can tell that Tarantino is a horror movie fan. And to me, this movie, I just kept thinking, wow, that looks really familiar. Jose kind of looks like what was his name in the thing?
Bob
McReady,
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I read that that Tarantino is infamous for like stealing scenes and nods from other movies.
Oh yeah.
And that The Thing was one of the main players in the Hateful Eight.
Everybody suspects everybody. Yep. Paranoia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't who was the main actor in Hateful Eight?
Kurt
Kurt
Russell.
Russell.
Oh, there's a
Yeah,
few of them.
wasn't he in the thing? Or
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he was
Creedy.
the star.
Yeah.
Creedy. Yeah.
So rewatch The Hateful Eight and keep that in mind and look at it. Another thing in regards to Kill Bill was the scene when Daryl Hannah is dying in it is also a nod to Blade Runner. The
Oh,
scene in
wow.
Blade Runner.
Okay.
So
If you would have told me when I was a kid that the computer who wore tennis shoes would grow up to be doing Escape from New York and all
Joe,
of these.
Joe, not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that Russell did Disney movies.
Yeah.
Oh
Mike-
yeah. Oh, he was Disney
Yeah,
boy all
he
the
did
way.
Disney TV
Clean
movies.
cut,
Yeah.
always had
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hair combed perfectly to the side. He was the
Yeah.
computer
Strongest
award-
man in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I remember my cousin, she's a few years older than me, and she had the biggest crush on Kurt Russell. We'd always watch those movies, and she just loved Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah, you
he's
never pictured him swearing or shooting anyone. He was clean.
I remember the old Lost in Space episodes
Oh, yeah.
when him and Bill Mummy, who eventually both of them became big sci-fi stars later, were in that, that like cheap gladiator fight between themselves. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I will say
remember
that it really surprised me to see Tatum Channing in The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
That was kind of like a what?
Yeah.
He just doesn't seem like the same caliber as other
I
actors on the
think
screen.
I know who he is.
He was
Say goodbye
Magic
to your
Mike.
waivers.
He was Magic
What?
Mike.
Oh,
You know the
that
movie?
that male stripper movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
Uh-huh.
No, it wasn't it. I didn't see Brokeback Mountain either, Alan.
I didn't say anything. Joe.
All right, guys. So I want to go through all of y'all. I want you to tell me which character out of all of the movies is your favorite and why. And just if you had to get anybody to watch one Quentin movie, which one would it be? Would it be the one you picked, or would it be another one?
That's so hard.
Favorite character,
That's what she said.
Hans Landa.
Oh, sorry,
Hans Landa.
am I on?
Yeah, you're Hans Landa for the reasons I stated. But if I had to tell somebody pick a Quentin Tarantino movie to watch, you got to go with Pulp Fiction. That started the whole thing. Let them see that first and go from there.
My favorite character is probably Gary Oldman as Drexel. He played it so well. He's an English white guy playing an American black pimp, and he just nailed it. He was just funny. He thought he was a black guy, he thought he was this pimp, and he just wasn't, and he just killed it. But if I was gonna pick a movie to watch, it's From Dusk Till Dawn. That's my favorite Tarantino movie. I just love everything about that film.
I would say Brad Pitt. Who doesn't want to be Brad Pitt? Yeah, as Cliff Booth in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, he is very cool in that. Nothing bothers him, and he beats up Bruce Lee. So, and he kills Tex Watson. So, the movie I would pick Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I think Reservoir Dogs would be the one I think you should see first, with the banter and all that. That'd be my pick. Morgana?
I love Tim Roth as Oswaldo Mowbray in The Hateful Eight. I just like his attitude and his personality. I mean, I could sit there and just listen to his banter just nonstop. I would not necessarily recommend this as a first movie for most people because, I had a friend that posted on Facebook. She saw it in the theater on opening night and was appalled at the language. And I'm like, you've never seen a Samuel L. Jackson movie before? I mean, come on, let's be real here. But I did like From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm not a huge horror fan, but I thought that one was really cool. So probably that. I think that'd be a good starting place.
I kind of want to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood before I decide.
You should.
It's a good film. It really is.
Yes.
Sounds like it, and that sounds like it's right up my alley.
I guess anything. Go ahead.
I would probably go with the Kill Bill movies, and I would go with Uma Thurman's character as my favorite character because what she had to face, what she had to get through was done very realistically, and she just kept getting beat up and kept coming back, and it's like she was going to be half dead, but she wasn't going to die until she accomplished what she needed to accomplish. And I just really thought she did a good job with it. I mean, I was going to say Bruce Willis and the black guy in that dungeon scene because in Pulp Fiction, but when I think about it, I think Uma just really did a good service for that film, and she was believable, and she did a great job.
Ultimate revenge flick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ultimate revenge flick, absolutely. You know, but Bruce Willis in that dungeon scene was really good too. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. How about you, Kris? You got one?
See, I'm really torn here, but I love Samuel L. Jackson's acting. So whatever movie he is in, every movie that he's in, but uh, uh, I would say if you haven't watched Quentin Tarantino, I mean, to me, the first thing that comes to mind is Pulp Fiction. I could not get into the Kill Bills. The scene where they fight with Daryl Hannah, I mean, that was a great scene. I like that. But there was just too much going on in that movie for me to, or those two movies for me to get. I loved The Hateful Eight. But to me, I guess
That's the way it was
Jules.
for me with Reservoir Dog because
And
it put me to sleep all the time. So
yeah, but
you
no, and
know,
I really did enjoy, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I'd have to say to get a really good feel for his movies, I would start with Pulp Fiction and then go from there. Now I have to do a shout out though to Inglorious Bastards because Christoph Waltz, he's just so very nonchalant until he has to be, and then you just really see evil. He did a great job.
And he started out as a kid show guy. He had a
Really?
kid show in, is it Sweden or Holland?
Well,
Somewhere.
interesting tidbit. That movie was not going to get made if they did not find the right person to play that character.
Wow.
Oh.
And he told them, he said, I'm not going to make this if I don't find the right person to play this part. And they found him that week. But the qualifications was it had to be someone who could speak English, French, and German fluidly. And that they, had to be a class act. I mean, he had all these, and they just found the actor to do it. But he was committed to if it wasn't the right person, he would rather it just go to print.
Austria. He's from Austria. I'm sorry.
Nah.
So,
Cool.
and I'm gonna have to go with Pulp Fiction, and we've really not hit on all the great, because all his films are wonderful, and we did not even hit on Django Unchained and gosh, what else?
Yes, it is less weird, less quirky.
What were his other movies? Oh, we didn't even do Reservoir Dogs.
Jackie
No.
Brown.
Jackie Brown. And all of these are, I mean, there's something worthwhile out of each of his movies, but to me, Pulp Fiction, and again, I'm going to have to agree with Kris, this is probably why we're BFFs, is Jules, Samuel L. Jackson. No one delivers Quentin Tarantino dialogue like Samuel L. Jackson does.
Yeah.
And when he has his moment and he's speaking, what is it, Ezekiel or
2517?
yeah, I mean, that's that. You can't walk away and not hear that and not think of him. So,
Okay, I have to say, totally off, but not. I met Samuel L. Jackson probably 30 years ago it was when they were filming A Time to Kill, and he never used MF the entire time. I was so disappointed. He's a cool guy, though. Really cool guy. I mean, he is. He's awesome.
That is also one of his best movies.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that movie. Love that movie. And I will say, if the only thing that I had ever seen or known about Quentin Tarantino and his character in From Dusk Till Dawn, that is one of the most horrible characters. He did a phenomenal job, but
Yes.
the person he played, I don't know that I would have ever watched anything that he was in. But like I said, I knew enough about his movies and stuff that, he played it fantastically.
Yeah,
But
killed it.
yeah, but that particular character was just horribly off-putting, but he did a very good job portraying it. So I will catch up with the rest of them in the near future.
Yeah.
well, I think we could probably all watch them again and have a whole nother hour and a half to talk.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a favorite of mine. He's up there with Guy Ritchie. I actually like Tarantino better than Guy Ritchie, I think, because I think he's a better writer. He really gets me with his characters and his dialogue. I don't think anybody's got the feel and his use of music in all of his films is incredible. Just incredible.
It is.
And the scenery, which I have to go back to the Jack Rabbit Slim scene in Pulp Fiction. That's one of the most beautifully shot. I guess it's just a set, but it's just incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, are there really places like that?
I know it's disappointing that there is a Jack Rabbit Slims in Colorado. I don't know how close it goes to mimicking that. But
For the doc him, Ash, stop drinking.
He's into the vodka. Well, it was great, and I really appreciate y'all taking the time out of your busy schedules to watch these movies and to be here tonight. I know a lot of y'all have a lot of stuff going on, and it really does mean the world to me for us to be able to have this. Oh my God, she's got a duck in her head.
Oh yeah, I did it. For you, Hadley. Come on
That's
now.
right.
She's a pirate. What can we say?
Don't worry, Jennifer. We won't put that on the internet.
All I can think of is it's a cruel world.
needs that eye patch, right?
I was thinking about singing in this hat to you, Hadley. Just saying.
Well, that's it. And that's going to do it for us, guys. You know where to find us. Anybody got anything special going on? I know that Joe's probably got a great interview coming out soon. Morgana, are you on tomorrow night with Henry Tully?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 7:00, 8 Eastern. Don't remember the subject off the top of my head, though.
Yeah.
Still
And
got it.
We're doing voice actors tomorrow. That'll be exciting.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm gonna eat these peeps. I'm gonna eat these peeps when we get off the air.
No.
Hot tamale? Oh, I gotta
Peeps.
I eat like one peep a year. That's about all I can think.
Send them to me.
Just tomorrow, Nurse Alyssa versus the Zombies 8, New Beginnings comes out. And tomorrow, Saturday, from 2 to 4 Eastern time, I will be doing a takeover on Horror Writers Inc.
Cool. We will see you there.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
All right, guys. It's been great. Thanks
It
for
is.
having us.
I have a ton of books coming out right now, but I'll tell you later.
I just had 2 drop as well, but they're old news.
Nah, they're never old news. Need to get announcements from y'all on that stuff so we can start putting it on the website. But as always, this is Hadley, and I appreciate everybody who made it by tonight to celebrate my birthday. And Kris
Happy
Vandalay, I
birthday.
hope you will come back, even if you were quiet. I know you're not. These people, they just don't know.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right, guys, and that's going to be it for this week. And I don't know what time next week, Alan.
You want to do 7? 7 seems to 7 p.m. Pacific, which would be, I don't know where you.
9 p.m. That works for me.
It's
All right.
10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, that work for you and Scott?
Yeah, it works for me.
Fine.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
next week, can we do Batman?
Sure.
No.
They're dropping the new Batman on.
I am Batman.
They're dropping the new Batman on.
Comic
Monday?
book
Can't bring the
movies.
microphone.
They asked
Oh,
Adam
no.
West what he thought about that, and Adam West said, "I am the only Batman that never had to announce to people that I was Batman."
Oh,
Well, I thought it would be fun for us to sit around and maybe look at our favorite Batman movies.
There we go.
Right.
They're dropping right. You're going to
Frank
see on
Miller?
HBO Max Monday
I don't know where they're
or
dropping it,
Tuesday.
but
HBO Max
okay.
this coming week,
Right.
the 18th.
But yeah,
19th.
let's connect and each pick out a favorite old Batman movie, and we can. We don't have to watch them, but we can talk about them if no one wants to watch them. So
Yeah, that's cool.
we'll figure it out. Anyway, I'll see y'all soon, and Morgana, I will see you tomorrow night.
All right.
Bye,
sounds good.
guys.
Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Good.
Thanks for coming.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.